Hello, welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. Today is the first of February, 2024, and it is a huge day in Upland. It was one of those rare opportunities or rare situations where I said, "Oh, it's the end of January, and we're headed towards the center month, the middle month of the first quarter of 2024. We've got all these promises. There's a lot that's coming. We're gonna get hit with something, and not a joke. I said, oh, well, we'll have to see what happens into the next week. I expect something to happen, and there's a bunch of things that hit us all at once, and definitely worth hitting one by one. There's some things that have more to come. There's some things that are well defined, but there was a lot to discuss, and there's a lot to happen over the next week here in Upland. First and foremost, let's start from the top. From the top, an ETH bundle sale opportunity. Upland talked about and was setting up the ability for people to buy UPX with ETH, set up that wallet connection, and be able to be able to do those one-time purchases. Now Upland wants to set up those wallet connections so that we can be ready and onboard people to get ready for the Sparklet sale. So that's something that, or a Sparklet transition, Sparklet navigation, mitigation, and migration. And when they're talking about that being something that's coming up, they want to get people who potentially already have that native ETH or are coming from the back side of crypto and maybe may transition to Upland. But ultimately, we'll get into the specifics of the sale. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack, and it is a sale that touches and actually puts out an area that people have been waiting for, and that is Beverly Hills. It is not all the properties in Beverly Hills. It is not a guarantee of what's going to happen to the rest of the properties in Beverly Hills, but we'll get into the specifics on the sale. Also, big importance. We've talked about it earlier in the week that there was more to come when we talk about this frost season. We had the frost pass come out. We were told about the new season alignment, that there's a frost season. That's a 2-month cycle. Actually 45 days, but that 15-day on the backside, we can call it what it is. And then we also have this new idea of alignment that we're going to have some benefit for doing certain tasks or features or taking care of different missions in additional seasons or in specific seasons. And we have an update on that. We know a lot more than we did a week ago. A week ago was very vague. Now we've got more information to talk about, so we're going to obviously make sure we get that checked off. Also on the list, not a small thing, but a small piece of the news that not everyone saw. We do have a winner. We have a winner of the Tokyo terminal property. This was something that was being given out as part of the Tokyo expansion. It was something that a lot of people got their names into a hat for. I got my name in there a bunch of times. But as always, my name does not get drawn. The hand does not find it. I don't end up that lucky, but congratulations. We'll get into that winner, and I feel like there's a lot more. Maybe we'll touch on it as we go through, but to get started, get the disclaimer out of the way so we don't have to do it later. All views and opinions expressed by myself and mine alone shouldn't be taken as a game strategy or financial advice. Anything that I do have to say obviously doesn't represent the game or the team of Upland. Any guests or contributors who we do have on, they have their own opinions, their own views, and it shouldn't be taken as a game strategy advice, financial advice, or the views of myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show, or the team or game of Upland. Get that out of the way. Obviously, I always do the guest signature. Typically do the guest things. None today, but we'll be having one here very shortly, next couple of days. Talk about a project on Layer 2. Lucky enough to be having someone on the team in the next couple of weeks, but that's kind of, we know it's a busier season than we want it to be, and with the potential of maybe getting some more clarification on what's going on with this ETH sale. So with that out of the way, let's start with the big things first, and then go right down the list. And I think that they're potentially equally weighted. We had a number of announcements in the official announcements channel. We had a number of live updates today. And then obviously we have a game winner over in event winners. We have somebody who won a terminal, which is a pretty big deal. It kind of gets lost with all these other big deals going on today. So let me jump in. ETH and Beverly Hills, the the perfect combo. Let's get that dropped in. I'm going to take a look at the Discord announcement first. I don't always do so. The reason I want to take a look over on the Discord side is because there's enough information in this little teaser announcement. We'd like to announce a significant step forward in our sales, the introduction of ETH sales. Again, we have ETH for OPEX. This is now ETH to buy a bundle. The introduction of the ETH sale, again, big news here in Upland. We'll get into the specifics. This will allow you to get your hands on an exclusive Beverly Hills set of properties, Spark, and even landmarks. This should help encourage folks to link their MetaMask in participating with the Sparklet Exchange token. Again, key here is people need to be able to link their MetaMasks in order to be ready to take Spark out of the game of Upland, have it transformed into Sparklet, or exchange the Spark for Sparklet, and then be able to have it open to exchange, put on exchanges, put in wallets if you choose to do so, sell it immediately if you're looking to get some benefit out of the Spark you've been holding on to for potentially years now. And again, it looks like Upland's trying to encourage those transactions, or people trying to move Spark when the token comes out. It makes sense. A token that is entirely static, as theoretically you could put as much value as you want to it, but it has no value if nobody is able to or in the position to buy it. So I get it. I get that Upland's trying to do this. They're trying to hit the ground running. I think they really do want some speculation. They really do want the coin out there and making movement. So they're trying to get people ready to, again, take Spark out of the game of Upland, Sparklet, reduce the overall circulation of Spark in the game of Upland, which is going to potentially put more value to the Spark that's remaining. I would love it. I'd love to see it. But the other side of value of Spark, we're actually going to talk about. This is actually going to be something that is tied to announcements today. But again, key thing with setting the stage here is that we have a sale. And the sale date is 8 a.m. PT on the 1st as being the registration. The sale is supposed to start 9 a.m. PT on the 2nd. This has since changed. Right now, everything is on hold. There wasn't some issues with getting the registration set up on the or setting wallets up, I should say. That is being revamped, the way those wallets are being set up. So because of that, this sale has been postponed. Just a quick note there, and we'll see that in the further announcements and updates. But we will have this sale here in the next several days, we know. And to get a chance to get your hands on some lost properties, again, they're calling Beverly Hills lost properties. They told us before that the way the mapping was, they just didn't try to put Beverly Hills out. They told us Beverly Hills would be coming later, and obviously this is where the first iteration of the properties are coming out. Again, the Beverly Hills properties are going to be tied to the city of Los Angeles. So it's not a new city. It's not a new minting opportunity. It is an opportunity to get your hands on some of these properties, specifically through the ETH bundle sale now, with more of those properties available later. And of course, landmarks and Spark, big thing there. Spark's really a sweetener. We'll get into how the pricing seems to shake out, how the value seems to shake out. Spark is not the bulk of that value, but it's nice that they're giving it there. And the reason why it's nice they're giving there, as we get into the announcement, is this is kind of a little bit of a onboarding bundle potential to bring somebody in who's not in the game of Upland, has some ETH, heard about Upland, hasn't really bought in yet, has the opportunity to buy in with ETH and get started. You have to have a little bit of Spark to fully participate in Upland. And with Spark as a sweetener, it kind of gives this idea that you can come into Upland with a one-time purchase and kind of start most of the activities, most of the functions and features of being an Uplander without having to wait for a Spark sale, which is kind of interesting that they're choosing to do this. And again, if I look at the language here, Upland launches first ever Web3 onboarding bundle in the metaverse. Again, they're calling it an onboarding bundle because you are getting yourself some properties to get started. You're getting yourself a utility token in Spark that lets you build in the ecosystem. Key here is I'm going to have some thoughts, and that is okay for other people to have their own thoughts. But this is something that is potentially set up to bring new people into the game of Upland. If you're sitting on a bunch of ETH, if you're a crypto holder from way back, You bought your ETH at 125, and you've just been sitting on it, waiting to do something, deciding if you want to sell, when to sell, what's the best time to sell. Uh, it might be you may have an opportunity to use some ETH here to your benefit. Let's get in and look at the specifics here, because it is interesting what you're getting and how you're getting it, and some of the values here that could be contained within your bundle. Upwind putting out here, thrilled to announce the first ever in the Upwind universe, the first ever ETH only bundle sale. This is a significant development and step forward. Again, we talk about what is highlighted, step forward in expanding the Upwind ecosystem, offering players rewards and experiences. Again, it's not just what it is. It's not just the opportunity that there's these specific properties in Beverly Hills that have been highly speculated and desired from day one of Los Angeles. It's also how the sale's happening, and that it's bringing in this MetaMask tie, and that it's setting the stage for the Sparklet sale, and that it's a potential to bring people from the crypto space back into Upland, or people who haven't even come to Upland into Upland from the crypto space. It's been something that Upland has been a USD forward game. It's been an opportunity where people don't have to have a crypto wallet. They don't have to hold a cryptocurrency in order to get involved in Upland. But now, again, this opportunity that we're putting our hands out and going and bringing some of these people in who may be out there in the cold, who may have never had the interest in putting USD into a game, but they may be in a more of a position to put some crypto in. So we'll get into that. Again, key here, connect your Spark wallets to something Upland is looking to have done for the future of Sparklet. Key. We know this. We've had that discussion, but Upland's taking those foundational steps now. They're saying that this core of this offer is built on exceptional value. We'll get into that. Again, it is a bundle sale. We know what bundle sales mean. We know what randomized assets mean. We know there's winners. We know there's losers. Each bundle is carefully curated to include high-value properties, complemented with a bonus of Spark. The compelling combination is crafted to incentivize players to integrate their MetaMask wallets and encourage an Ethereum transactions. The exclusive offer will be available in the store for the next few weeks, providing ample time for players to integrate their MetaMask wallets and take advantage of something. Here's an interesting thing. They're talking about time. You've got so much time. Interesting thing is there's a limited number of these happening, a limited number of these available. So it's not fair to really say that you've got weeks to do this. Theoretically, when we go and do register, when the sale actually happens, we know first come, first serve. If these all get sold out in 24 hours, they're all sold out in 24 hours. There's a lot there. We'll go into the numbers and the quantity, but there's a lot of cost there. There may be some people who can't justify putting, and this is shocker, putting an ETH, of entire ETH into Upland right now. But again, that is what one of the value propositions is. Give us an ETH. We're going to give you something in return. So we'll get into the actual breakdown on that just in a second. But let's touch on the real world here. Beverly Hills is one of the more expensive parts of Los Angeles. It is one of the higher speculated parts of Los Angeles. It's a very showy, known more broadly as a part of the greater LA County than almost any other portion of LA that just hits the mind. Either Hollywood, Beverly Hills. So this is something that again has a lot of visibility, but also something people have been waiting for in the game of Upland for, again, like I said, 2 years here. And literally, we're at the 2-year point on LA. Beverly Hills in Upland offers a unique acquisition experience due to the area's renowned status in Los Angeles. Obtaining these properties won't follow the usual expansion pattern. Again, nobody can go, float through, mint, pay a certain amount of UPX. Not going to happen. You're going to have to acquire these in other ways. The only way as of right now to access these exclusive properties will be this particular sale. There will be more properties. Those will be sold under special sales, under special conditions, as special prizes as well. They're going to be available through additional contests. And then again, expect future specialized sales similar to this. The city's launch is also non-vanilla, which means the collection value is already going to be priced in those properties. property is going to be assigned collection by Upland, it means it's going to have a much higher mint price than the UPX per UP2 would normally be listed for that area. If that's a street collection, you'll see that. If it's a whole neighborhood collection, then obviously whatever the neighborhood value UPX per UP2 would have been, it would be multiplied by whatever multiplier is associated, if it's an exclusive or a rare or even an ultra rare. So keep that in mind. And since it is a neighborhood in and of itself, or is going to be set up as a more or less as a neighborhood in and of itself, we don't expect there to be a massive neighborhood collection, but we could be surprised. Instead, the only way to acquire these, again, this sale, future sales, non-vanilla, those are keywords there. I like that they're highlighting the right things this time around. Beverly Hills in Upland is set for a unique chapter where its real-world exclusivity is mirrored by the metaverse, offering access only through this sale and the future special event sales. Easy enough. So there's going to be a total of 7,700 properties that are going to be in Beverly Hills. This is going to be part of LA, so LA is not going to change at all. The treasure hunting, it's going to add 7,700 more properties. With the location, it's not going to significantly change how people treasure hunt, though we will see treasures spawn in that area. Definitely expect to see it. There'll be a total of 7 collections, and this is interesting. We're getting 7,700 properties. Of those 7,700 properties, there are 7 collections. That's a denser collection, a set of collections that we've seen in almost any expansion in the game of Upland. So that is kind of exciting to see something like that done. We have seen a pretty dense set of collections, or decently dense set of collections in Rutherford. Otherwise, usually not that dense with that many collections in that small of an area. So that's pretty cool to see. Again, the city collection, Beverly Hills as a standard collection. Well, look at that. So that is going to be something interesting. Beverly Hills is going to be set aside as its own standard collection. So there you go. We have one collection right there. Neighborhood collections. The Flats is a limited collection. Beverly Hills Gateway, a limited collection. And Roxbury Park, again, segments of Beverly Hills, its own collection. So we've got 3 neighborhood collections. Street collections of Alpine Drive is a rare. Rodeo Drive, almost said rodeo. Rodeo Drive is a rare collection. And Sunset Boulevard is going to be an ultra rare. Look at that. Mint price, average mint price is, and we'll get into some qualifiers here. Average mint price, $256,501. Collection factor is included in this since it's a non-vanilla. Lowest mint price, $4,320. Very few properties are going to be under 10,000 UPX, but that means you could get a low mint property. It is a warning up front. It is possible. Some people will get them when they buy these bundles. When you see the pricing, you might be a little concerned. We'll take a look and see if there's any assurances in here as to what you will be getting. The lowest mint price at $43.20, the average at $256,501, which means we've got some expensive properties in there. And we've got one, the highest mint value, $55,361,000 UPX. That's 55 million UPX. That is one of the most expensive. I think it's going to put it right on there with the most expensive landmarks in the game of Upland. Landmarks having those enhanced costs, enhanced values. This is a pretty massive property, pretty expensive property once we get right down to it. And I said landmarks, right? So landmarks, we've got the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, we've got the Greystone Mansion, we have the Saban Theater, we have the Beverly Hills Hotel, the Pink Palace, we've got two Rodeo Drive, and we got the Witch's House. Lot going on there, and there's more. That's what we're getting out of Beverly Hills. We've got some additional landmarks in this sale that are going to be coming from other places as well, or other cities around the Upland globe. Unmatched value in every bundle. Get into some of the specifics here. Again, these properties and Spark, we've already touched on that. The landmarks are going to be baked into the pie of what people are going to be able to get on these sales. Unprecedented value. Again, we get a little bit promotional here at Upland, but the key thing here is you are going to get a reservation on your property when you buy them. We've had sales like this before, and then Upland drops you the UPX. So you've got a 50 million UPEX property. You ain't buying that. Who's sitting on 50 million UPEX? They're going to send you the 50 million UPEX. You're going to go and take those 50 million UPEX, travel to the city of Los Angeles, go into Beverly Hills, and then we'll mint yourself a property. Great. The flip side of that is you may have just written a lottery ticket and won $50,000, or I mean, by Upland standards, the equivalent thereof, because you get dropped the UPEX and you get the reservation for that property. You have to then go and physically mint that property. That's a lot of UPEX, if you ask me. 50 million UPEX right in your account. Tempting not to use it to mint that property. But I've always wanted a landmark, so I probably am going to be silly enough to go and exchange that UPEX for that property. If that happens, because that's not all that's going to be in that bundle or all that's going to be available. Bundle details, sale registration, TBA. Well, guess why it's TBA? Because they're getting that fixed right now. So we'll get some more information on that. The sale start, TBA. Again, we got updated that this is going to, again, have an update. 0.5 Ethereum bundle. 0.5 Ethereum is about 2,200, I think, USD. What does that put that as? A little over $100, $113, $120, $125. You'll see as things flow. Keep in mind, I rounded up to 125. The reason I do that is because we are looking at having to have gas fees when you go to bar things. So I'm going to round it to $125 to go and buy this bundle. 3 properties are included. You get 0.05 Spark. 0.05 Spark, equivalent of about plus or minus, to get in, depending on how you do the math, the way bundles are priced out, but equivalent is about $30 USD. So it's a little bit of a sweetener. It would theoretically give somebody who bought this bundle enough Spark to start some structure in the game of Upland. So it's kind of cool that's an option. The property locations: LA, Manhattan, Chicago, Beverly Hills. Again, the collection's 110 properties in this bundle are going to be a collection. Exclusive landmarks. The Angelus Temple in LA is going to be one property that will be in these bundles that somebody who buys one of these 200 bundles is going to end up with. Again, keep in mind there's significant collections in there. There's some held over reserved high value properties that are going to be in this bundle. Again, Beverly Hills is going to be heavily prominently featured here. There's going to be some high value reserve properties in Chicago, some reserved properties in Manhattan, and some properties in LA as well, or greater LA. So we do know that the $250,000 UPEX is the average value on properties, and then this is the flip side. This is a little bit of the disclaimer. The disclaimer is we've got a couple of different bundle packages here. Each of them has a different value. They all have about the same property offers, a number of properties offered. We'll get into the additional ones, but it is important to notice that not every property is going to be that 50 million UPEX property. Keep that in mind. When we do look at this, with 3 properties, are the chances with an average of a $250,000 property that you hit at least $250,000 UPEX property, and then the other 2 are gravy? It's definitely there. It's definitely there. That possibility is there. There's some low UPEX properties. There's going to be some high UPEX properties, of course. And a landmark is more than just the value. As far as what we've seen in the past, we've seen people buy landmarks for significantly more than mint value. A landmark often hits collection, or is often located in an area that happens to be a collection. When you add the collection value to the landmark value, the fact that it has a high mint value to begin with, significant yields typically coming from those. So keep that in mind. If I hit a landmark, I'm going to be so excited. But at the same time, keep in mind that there's no guarantee that you're going to get 3 properties that are worth $250,000 UPEX or more. But it looks like Upland built the value around the fact that you're potentially getting more value in UPEX than what you're paying in ETH. AKA, they are accepting the fact that when you put in this ETH, they have to give you more value than the 1,001 UPEX. Overall, they have to give you more value than the 1,001 UPEX. On average, they're giving you the equivalent in this case of 0.5 0.05 ETH. Okay, 0.05 ETH, giving you, if the on average is the case, we know that there's a little bit of a skewing likely towards the larger set, because the larger set might have some of the more valuable properties tied to it. But if they're saying that on average you could get 700,000 UPX, we can kind of see that, the way they're distributing that value there. Probably going to lean towards the more expensive bundles here. 0.1 ETH bundle. There's 100 of these bundles available. You get 3 properties. You get 0.1 Spark. Again, 0.1 Spark, about $50, a little over $50 worth of Spark. So it's definitely worth getting. And again, gives you a good start in the game if you really are starting from nothing. There are properties in LA, there's properties in Manhattan, there's properties in Chicago and Beverly Hills that will be included here. 55 properties in this bundle are going to be in collections, so that's a good thing. Exclusive landmarks. The Witch's House, Beverly Hills, is one landmark that's going to be there, and a second landmark is the John Brown House in Queens. So that's 2 landmarks that have been reserved, that have been sitting there unminted, and poof, you have the opportunity to win one of these. You're going to get the UPX. You're going to get the reservation. If you decide not to mint the landmark, not telling you to not mint the landmark, you can turn around and spend your UPX on something else. I'm sure Upwind has a shorter period of reservation. I know they've done a good job about being smart about that recently. So a short period of reservation. If someone doesn't actually go and mint that property will come back to the market, be back available for people to come and mint at the mint price, which, keep in mind, is going to be a high price and not available to everybody. But the Abdullahs of the world will be racing for it, I'm sure. The 1 ETH bundle, again, 1 ETH. 2200 USD equivalent. A little bit of cost there. 50 of those bundles are going to be available. You get 4 properties, so you are picking up an additional property for that additional cost. You're getting 2 Spark. Hey, now we're talking. 2 Spark. That's over $900 worth of value at the Spark sale price. Keep in mind, Sparklet may change the value of Spark moving forward. Something worth noting. But a lot of value here as far as the 2-day value. Properties in LA, Manhattan, Chicago, and Beverly Hills will be included in this sale, or in this bundle, to potentially be earned or won or redeemed, or however we want to call this. 76 properties total are going to be in collections or collection properties. And here are some landmarks. You got Navy Pier, Chicago, Edgar Allan Poe Cottage in the Bronx. I love that one. The Zegas in Berlin. 2 Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Beverly Hills, the Dixon Concert Hall in New Orleans. That has been one on my list. I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to exist. I was waiting for it. And there it is. And St. Philip's Cathedral in Birmingham. I can tell you right now, I am not putting an ETH into this sale. I can tell you, I took a look at my Play wallet, and I have a Play wallet. And in my Play wallet, there happens to be a decent amount of ETH, enough ETH that I can go and buy a couple of these bundles. Not the 1 ETH bundle, but I do have the opportunity going on this sale. I still have questions. I have questions on how this is set. If there is a specific gradation between the value, the overall value of the 0.05 ETH bundle properties versus the overall value on average of the 0.1 ETH properties. And then there was stuff that's in the 1 ETH bundle. Since you're only getting 4 properties and that 2 Spark, but since you're only getting 4 properties, they can't be the same per property value that you would see in the 0.5 ETH bundle. It just wouldn't make sense. It's 20 times the cost. You got 1 more property. Yes, you got 2 Spark out of it, but 2 Spark doesn't make up all that difference in value. 2 Spark makes up about $900 worth of it. So that means that these extra, when we look over here and we see these extra landmarks in there, those have to make up a good portion of that value. I would like to see a number, if it's possible, to say, bloop, this amount is for this one. Bloop, this amount is for this bundle. Bloop, on average for this bundle. That would be nice. We still know that it is a grab bag. It is probably the most expensive for the Australians out there. Lucky dip you'll play in your life. If you want to equate it to a lottery, it's not legally a lottery, but if you want to equate it to a lottery, you're buying a ticket. You're guaranteed to get something, but you're not guaranteed to get more than the value of your ticket. It would be like if there was a lottery with a backstop. You get a booby prize, but you may not get anything that exceeds the value of what you put in. But from what it seems, at least with the value that Upland's talking on the average property value of $250,000 UPX, if you take that $250,000 UPX and you say 4 properties and you say 2 Spark, theoretically, that's just under. That value right there is just under, which tells me for sure, I'm confident of it, the per property value on that ETH bundle and the 1 ETH bundle is actually going to be higher than that average 256, which means your average for the lower bundles, the 0.05 and the 0.1, is going to be less than the $250,000 UPX and the 257,000 UPX. That's just math. That's the way it has to be. Otherwise, that 1 ETH bundle is not as valuable as it looks. But again, I'm looking at the properties that are in there for landmarks. It is a valuable property. Well, there are valuable properties in there. It is a valuable proposition. Upland just needs to give us that gradated number for each of them. And I will tell you, I have already asked. I've already been told they don't have those numbers to give right now. But it would be nice. It would be nice if we could get that. But I will tell you, whether or not I have that number, and this is a personal choice, not advice to anybody, whether or not I get that personal number, since I have the ETH sitting in my play wallet, aka that's not stuff that I eat off. That's not ETH that I went out and bought that I could have spent money on something else. That's ETH that's been sitting there. It's not ETH that I consider to be a long-term investment. So I can go and put 0.05 ETH for this 0.05 ETH bundle. I can take another 0.1 ETH and I can go get one of these 0.1 ETH bundles. And that's my choice. I'm not guaranteeing what I'm going to get, but Upland made a decent pitch. I've got a 2 out of 100 or equivalent of 1 out of 50 chance on the 0.1 ETH bundle of getting a landmark. I've got a 1 out of 200 or 0.5% chance of getting a landmark. To me, that happens to make sense. That has to be an individual choice for people. If I'm also looking at there's additional value there, there's additional value in I'm going to get a rare potentially. It's additional value in I might get a large property in Beverly Hills. Those are all bonuses to me. Since I can justify the fact that this is a little bit of a very, 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 very expensive lottery ticket, it's something that I can justify doing, but it has to be something that people have that justification before they come in. Keep in mind, I love to, making this point on ETH. If you bought ETH at $115 per Ethereum, you may value your Ethereum differently. You could sell it today into USD if you chose to do so, but you don't have to. If you already have that essentially written off as that's only worth $115 to you, and you can get $900 worth of Spark for it. Plus, you've got a what are we looking at here? We got a 7 out of 50 chance of getting yourself a landmark. Could you justify $115 for that chance? I think a lot of people could. Could they justify the 2,200? That's another question. But again, having a ETH that's sitting there that you don't know what to do with, that's a luxury we don't all have. MetaMask, again, to participate, you have to connect your MetaMask wallet to Upland. Here's how. There's a video here of doing so. Again, Upland said that they're redoing this. You're going to have to reconnect your wallet anyways. So we'll wait for that announcement to come out. I expect it to be here shortly of giving this new thing about account mapping. So keep that in mind. Join the excitement. Get ready. Unparalleled opportunity. Expand your property portfolio. Use ETH for the first time for properties. And again, I think this is a good opportunity for people who aren't in the game of Upland to come in. They have to advertise it right. You're talking to your crypto bro down the street. He's sitting on 5 ETH. He paid almost nothing for them. He's already cashed out into USD in the past. He sees that as his play account. Great opportunity to use some of that. The future of Upland, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of things are being done here. We'll circle back to the announcement today, but a lot of things are being done here to potentially have significant value in the future. It's a game. I mean, I play a game. I'm not putting serious food on the table money into the game of Upland. I can't justify that for myself. Other people are doing their own game, playing their own strategy, but it is a game. But there is significant potential upside that I see at this time with getting ready for Sparklet. We don't know how that's going to run or how that's going to work. There is potential significant gameplay. People put hundreds of dollars into other games, other ecosystems, if there's place to play, if there's room to experience, if there is a reason to be in the community. So we see some of that lining up now. The other announcement from today definitely lines up along those lines of, why do I come into Upland every day? Giving you a little more to do, giving you a little bit more benefit for coming into Upland every day. And the larger your account, the larger that benefit, because it seems like it's a scaled percentile-based benefit. So we do see that as potentially being helpful and potentially being a layer of, if you came into Upland today, you have a different experience than if you came in 6 months ago. I'm excited about that. So am I going to put a little bit of ETH in? I am. Again, the value proposition here is different for everybody. It depends on how much you spent on your ETH. It depends on if you have to go into your USD wallet, you have to go to your real credit card and put money into a MetaMask that you may have just set up the other day. With that, I'm going to set this aside. I will say for sure, 100%, I'd love to see more on this from the team. I'd love to see a sit down. I'd love to have more conversation. I've put the offer out. We'll see what happens. It would be a great conversation. Again, I'm very positive about this. I would like to see different numbers for the different bundles. I think it's a little bit not necessarily intentionally misleading, but it's a little bit misleading to say one number overall, because we know that some of the value on this sale is concentrated in different buckets. And you can tell that because the pricing is higher for different buckets or different bundles. So we do want to get more information on that if we can, and hopefully we do. That was a big one. The other big one here is the Upland Frost Season Challenge. What's important about the Frost Season Challenge, the Frost Season Ornament Challenge, is it gives us the drip, the little bit of information that we need to really know what's going on, or better feel for how seasons are going to affect us moving forward. There's some key notes in here, and we're going to hit the big ones because it is late, and I want to get the big things through so I can get on and get to bed at some point. Weekly Snapshot is going to be done on Thursday during the Frost Season. That is going to be between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. PT again. 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. PT. Again, this is going to start next week as our first snapshot, because guess what? We went through our first one here. For our weekly giveaways, the final snapshot will take place March 15th at 9 a.m. PT. Pretty simple, pretty easy. We'll get into the specifics here. Let's get there right now. And again, key thing here is ornaments placed on properties are going to have value. They're going to have value in the form of contests, and we'll get into the specifics. They're going to have value in the form of helping maintain your divvies, your property dividends, your rewards for holding properties. And we'll get into a little bit of the details that exist, plus a little bit of speculation, because we don't have all the details just yet. All right, so key here is welcome to the Frost Ornament Challenge. This is something I've talked about. It is fun when we have these challenges for seasons for decorating. We haven't had them in the same way for a long time. When I say in the same way, we haven't had it where it's a leaderboard. The more you put in, the higher you are on the leaderboard. The higher the leaderboard, the better prizes you earn. We haven't had that for a while. So here's this. We've had it in the past, neighborhood by neighborhood. They're not talking about that right now. I would love to get one of those neighborhood to neighborhood contest. Small reward, obviously. You can't give everyone 1 million upicks if there's 1,000 participants in the neighborhood, but that would be fun if we get that back. Excuse me. As we have it, you can win some incredible prizes. This is done on a season basis as well as on a weekly basis, so that leaderboard is going to constantly be pushing out prizes throughout the season. Both past and present ornaments from the Frost Ornament Season will be available, will be usable for this. This is important. This is very important to me. Preserving the value of previous assets in the game of Upland, or assets that have been sold or put out in the game earlier. We now have UGC ornaments. So for Frost Season, we can have UGC ornaments available, but we also have what were not previously Frost season that are going to be applicable. We'll get into the specifics on those, but those will be applicable this year around. You don't have to spend a ton if you've already been collecting along the way in Upland, which is a huge benefit. And something I've been asking for is let's keep the value in what's already out there as we keep changing the game. And so long as we do that, me being early in the game, I see value in that. You being early in the game, you can see value in that as well. And if you come to the game new today, you can still go buy the new stuff because there will be a new sale, and you can go and buy the old stuff, which brings value to me if I'm choosing to sell my ornaments in an ornament shop. So it is something that potentially has the power to make new players or give new players assets if they choose to get them, but also reward existing players who've held onto these ornaments all this time because now they have more utility than they've ever had before. Very key. Each ornament is going to be placed on a property within a collection. The key here is the neighborhood or the property you put this ornament on has to A, have a structure. Duh, you can't put an ornament on without a structure. And B, it has to be part of a collection. So if you want to take a property that is not assigned to a collection and throw an ornament on it, more power to you. You made that property prettier. You did not score a point on these leaderboards. To score a point, you have to isolate a property that you own that is in a collection or can be tied to a collection, aka there are collections you can add given or chosen properties to. So keep that in mind. And then you have to put the ornament on of the right season. You get a point. You accumulate points on a leaderboard, and that leaderboard is going to determine who's going to win prizes. Only properties in completed collections will count. That means if you have a property that you have one of three, I'm sorry, you have one property, the collection is 6 pieces. No benefit. Again, we have 3 property collections. We have 4 property collections. We have 2 property collections. That's typically what we're going to see in the game of Upland. So keep that in mind. You have to be completing collections to get points for decorating these properties or for applying ornaments to these structures. But let's make this a little more fun. Upland status, we're going to have a different leaderboard for each Upland status. So if you came in the game last month, you're not going to be competing. Well, let me put it this way. If you came in the game last month and you have a 100,000 UPX value, you're not going to be competing against the people who are players who have a million or 10 million or 100 million UPX value in the game of Upland. So that's a key one. I like that. I like that they're putting those different leaderboards out. It technically means more prizes are going out. It also means that it is more of a level playing field, or at least different buckets. People competing as people in the same bucket. Uplander, Pro, Director, Executive, Chief Executive, each one has their own leaderboard. Each leaderboard has its own prizes. Additionally, the challenge features weekly giveaways from a snapshot taken every Thursday to identify the weekly winners. The climax, the end, the be-all, end-all, the big prizes of the challenge will be marked on the final snapshot on March 15th. From which the season's winners will be determined. Again, March 15th, that's the end of the season. Snapshots weekly, Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. PT, sometime in that window. The season, March 15th, 9 a.m. PT is the end of the season and the snapshot thereof. This challenge will feature both weekly and seasonal prizes, providing multiple opportunities for participants to win. Again, keep in mind, each leaderboard is individual and separate. Players who rank in the top 25 for the season in their leaderboard will receive the following prizes. First prize gets a unique badge, winner of the leaderboard, or something of that nature. And they do get a Beverly Hills property. That would be fun. That is another way that Beverly Hills properties are going to be distributed. Top 10. So keep in mind these stack. So top 10 entered into a drawing to win a rare landmark. Wow. That's a 1 in 10 chance. Wow. Apologize. That is a chance at a rare landmark. I'm going to assume that top 10, there may be one landmark overall. And it doesn't mean that there's one landmark for each of these leaderboards. And then top 25 receives a Frost Block Explorer. So top 25 from each leaderboard. Keep in mind, since you got 5 leaderboards here, 5 leaderboards means there's going to be a total of 125 of this Block Explorer available. This season will also mark the beginning and the introduction of the gamified yield. Gamified yield means that your 14.5%, previous year 17%. Again, we've had that step already. We've had a step down from the 17 change percent down to a 14 change percent dividend yield. That's something you get on an annual basis. That's something you get without doing anything for your property. You just have to collect it occasionally. Upland added this cap, this earnings cap, the max amount you can leave uncollected to help encourage people to go and check on their properties every once in a while, discourage people from having speculated buying properties and just leaving the game alone, doing nothing with it. You can earn until that cap. You can't earn once that cap is hit. You have to come and collect. So that has done some help. And the other help is going to be if you're a speculator and you are somebody who checks their account once a month, you're still going to have a yield. You're just going to have a lot less of it. The specifics are not given. We don't know what that amount is going to be. We don't know what that difference is going to be. But we do know that you can increase that yield by your activity. There is going to be essentially, think about the mission center that we already have. Those of us with a higher account balance have gone in our mission center and probably gone and completed that at some point, because there are things we were already doing. If we have a higher account balance and we play actively, we're doing things like we're sending and doing our sends and buying properties and minting properties. We're probably doing those things on a relatively common basis. So they all checked off pretty quick for a lot of us. But think about that as being done on a seasonally basis. We don't know what those missions are going to be. My expectation is they're going to encourage people to do player-to-player interactions. They're going to encourage people to move between cities, because that is a revenue generating for both players and for the team of Upland, the game of Upland, the community pool, and potentially to get people to use Spark, utilize Spark, build, start builds, potentially finish builds. Because, again, it's over a 45-day period. There could be some of that incentives built in there as well. And I'm going to expect that it's going to be a scaled system. And when I say scaled system, I mean that you can get some of the keystones or some of the rocks, some of the marks along the way, but not all of them, and still get a benefit. It's just going to be a scaled benefit. It's my expectation. So this is it. This is official. We talked about potentially having this happen. Upland talked about, oh yeah, it's going to happen. Now here's a little bit of details that we have more that we need to know. Stay tuned for the second half of the Frost season, where we're going to unveil the new Frost ornaments. But for now, you can be using your current Frost ornaments to compete and to along the way here. This current season, your existing yields stay the same. So your 14 and change is going to continue until the end of Frost season. However, next season, we're going to see yields that are affected by your performance in those tasks this season. So when we do have those missions announced, when those missions start to come along the way, we are going to see that you are going to have the opportunity to increase your yield. And again, we expect that to be push your yield up to probably where it is now, possible higher. I don't necessarily think so. I think that what this equates to is a little bit of a yield cut as a whole, with the potential of maintaining your yield more or less if you go and do the activities Upland's asking you to do, which a lot of us, if we're active, we're likely doing anyways. More details on this feature will be released shortly, as the mechanic is expected to launch very soon. Again, we're just starting the season. The season is about 45 days long. I don't think it's going to be retroactive. I think it's going to potentially be a little bit scaled. If it takes a week for it to come out, it may not have as many requirements as if it had come out today. So keep that in mind and keep your eyes open. We'll be having a full announcement with all the details, and maybe we'll get a team member to talk about it as soon as it does come out. Again, big news, big change to the game of Upland. So stay tuned for that. Upcoming new Frost ornaments. Stay tuned on those new Frost ornaments. But for now, here's what we can use for Frost season. And this is interesting because Carnival and Frost are two opposite things as far as I'm concerned. Carnival's bright and pretty and shiny and glittery, and you make a little jangle because you got a lot of metal on there. You don't have that so much when you say Frost. I mean, you're thinking about blues and ice, and maybe it's shiny and bright when the light hits just right. But we're thinking about two different things. But Upland is using what happened at the similar time of year previously. They're adapting it into frost season. I will take it because I own some of these carnival ornaments. Just run down the list. All the carnival ornaments, both the ones that Upland put out for Mangara, the Mangara ornaments, as well as the UGC contest ornaments. Again, that's UGC Mangara Carnival themed ornaments, as well as the official Mangara themed ornaments. Boom, both of those, done deal. Snap your fingers, be real happy, because those are all going to be counting to the points. Remember, you want to earn those points for the leaderboard. Make sure it's a property in a collection that's been completed. I want to touch on the value of that. The value of that is Upland is encouraging people to be active and put the focus of their game in places they have collections. That can include collections that were player contributed collections, or their collections that became collections because of actions of players. We'll get into another announcement today. I forgot to preface of our community winners, our neighborhood challenge winners for the previous month, for the month of January. So congratulations to them. We'll touch on that in just a minute. But it is going to say keep putting those efforts into those areas that have already hit collections and that you've already put the effort to make a collection or to make the collection for yourself. It's time to dive into the Frost Season Ornament Challenge, strategize, decorate, and climb those leaderboards with fantastic prizes and fun and a fun atmosphere. There we go. There is our ornament challenge. I'm going to go and get some points done. And this is something that happened today. A lot went on today. So we'll take some time and get that set up on my side here shortly. But otherwise, other than that, let's go and take a look, because there's a lot more going on. We got more to talk about this tomorrow. There's going to be more in the community on this, and there'll be more details with Upland in the next several days on this as well. But I don't want to miss out on a couple fun things. We'll just touch base here on the live updates. I do want to definitely put in this, because we've got this happened, that happened, will it happen, won't it happen? We had a short delay, obviously, due to the technical difficulties. They've got a short delay. That's coming here later on that bundle sale. Keep your eyes out on that. We had if we take a look here in the live updates, we had the Frost Ornament Challenge. Again, that's open, that's live. We just went through that. I want to touch on something else here. This is two big congratulations. First one is to Red Hook. As we mentioned, we have these player-run, player-generated collections that do go through and hit on a monthly basis. Poof, congratulations, Red Hook. You do have a new collection. You have 3 properties in Red Hook. You get them in, you put those in for the collection. And guess what? You can decorate them, and they count as points towards our Frost Ornament Challenge. And then secondly, the Tokyo Expansion Terminal giveaway. It actually got given away. Go figure. And go figure, the person who minted the most properties in the expansion, Dizzy Diskey, guess what? He wins. Again, I always say that when we have these contests, the more entries you have, the more chances you have to win. The more chances you have to win, you may be a little more likely to win. It's not a guarantee. You could buy 1,000 properties in order to think that you've got the best chance, and it could be the guy who bought one who wins. It's just the way it works. But it is always fun that the person who put a lot of effort in, they put a lot of UPX out of their pocket, and poof, they also happen to be the one who got the most number of entries. Sometimes that means they win. So congratulations, Dizzy Diskey, an airport terminal in Tokyo International. I had hoped for that. I had gotten a few entries, but I had the reality in the back of my head that there was no guarantee that I was going to win. So this is fun when we have these random opportunities to win. We can put that back to this sale, this bundle sale for ETH. Your gateway, your cost to entry is much higher, but you are still taking a chance. There's a lot of value that's going to be in that sale. I'd love to see more details on how that value lines up in each of those bundles, the various bundles. But there's a lot of value there, but you're still taking a chance. You're still rolling the dice. If you hit, you hit. If you don't, you know you had the opportunity. It just didn't turn out your way this time around. So for that, I do want to say, looking for more details there. No questions asked. Looking for more details on the frost season. Again, Upland tells us they're coming, which means we're going to find out what types of activities we're going to be doing over the next couple weeks in order to get the maximum benefit. And then we're going to find out what's happening to our dividends. Is it 14.5 is going to be the max? If you don't do anything, it comes down to 10. Or is it going to stay at the 14.5 or very close to it? And then you can push it up to 17 or 18. That would be great too. I don't think we need that. I don't think the economy is calling for that. I think in a way the economy is calling for make people work harder for their OPEX. And I'll explain that in a very brief way. I've said it before. Part of the reason why there's such a deviation between OPEX market and the USD market is because the ease of earning of OPEX, the dividends without people actually having to put significant amount of work in. Again, going and buying properties, thank you for doing so. At some point, some of that OPEX related to USD sales in the game of Upland, but the easier it is to earn OPEX, the more people are taking just their dividends and buying things, the further the distance is going to be between USD and OPEX. If you make it harder, you put more work into earning OPEX, or you take some of that free OPEX away from the people who aren't putting the extra effort in, the closer those two are going to be. Because, again, people are going to value their time a little bit, or they're going to end up with less OPEX to spend on the secondary market without making input either of effort or of money into the game. So I do see that as a positive. I do see that more than likely we're going to see our dividends come down. At least the dividends come down in the sense of if you don't put in effort, you're not going to get the full amount. Very much so. I think it's time that happened. I'm sure there's going to be some backlash. I'm sure when they tell people if you don't do anything, it's 12 or 10 or whatever it ends up being, you have to earn that last bit. I'm sure there's going to be some people upset about it. But I want to say very clearly, I've said it many times before, on an economic basis, it's Upland's job to move that dividend down eventually, because the longer that stays as high as it does, it discourages people to buy into the game. Again, with other purchases with ETH or USD. And the other key part of it was incentive for people to hold on their properties when there wasn't other things to do in the game of Upland. The incentive now has to be and should be for people to find ways to make UPEX in the game of Upland other ways, to participate in contests and earnings, to go and build the meta venture empire, go and race and be the best racer you possibly can be, or just accept the fact that you own into the game of Upland. You may be able to make UPEX, one way or the other, but that you're coming to Upland to play. That Upland is more than just a speculative platform, that you're doing more than just a speculative purchase that you're saying on long term, that you're actually coming to Upland because you want to be here. And fingers crossed, a lot of the people who've been here for a long time, they decide that they want to stay. And then the new people coming in, they feel very much so that they are coming into a different environment that some of us came in 2 years ago, which was very speculative based. It was very, I'm going to buy, hold, see the value go up, sell at a higher value, not I'm coming to the community to play and be a part of it. Uplander about to become rich. I don't know, Kevin Luxury. I don't know what we're referring to on the Uplander about to become rich, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lucky drops here in a couple different ways. I don't know if you're referring to UPX, UPX. If you're referring to Sparklet, if you're referring to buying in with ETH in these bundles, but yeah, there's a lot of roll the dice, get lucky type situations here lined up, and good luck to everybody. Again, do your research on these sales, do your research on the ETH sale, but be prepared as we do go into the future of Upland, that there's going to continue to be earning opportunities for people on this ETH side. This is a roll of the dice, shake the dice, blow on them, get lucky if you get lucky, and you could make a decent profit. Or, like me, if you get that landmark, again, I have the most horrible luck in Upland. I might spend up to 0.15 ETH, which is a lot of money, for chances at getting a landmark. I have very low chance of it happening. But if that happens to me, I'm going to sit on that landmark like you wouldn't believe. I'm going to go and spend some UPIX and complete the collection because a lot of them hit into a collection. And I'm going to sit in those dividends and I'm going to do the work, whatever work I have to do with Upland to maximize those dividends, because that is part of the future of the gamification of Upland. So with that for tonight, thank you everybody for being here. Looking forward to getting more details on this. Looking forward to the potential of sitting down with a team member to talk about this more. We've had, again, offers been made. I think it's a great opportunity. I think it's a great time to come and talk specifics on these. And good luck. Do your own research. Be ready. We got some of the details out here. You got a couple more coming, and just enjoy where you find your joy in the game of Upland, because there's more opportunities to play and be involved over the next couple of weeks, already shown to us right now. Thank you again. As always, if you're part of the Discord, if you're in Discord right now, feel free to unmute your mic. The floor is yours.